Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to discuss the slam stem position on my Canyon Ultimate. I'm riding a slam stem on my Velobuild anyway, and I'm going to analyze this from a bike fit point of view. I've already discussed how to cut the steerer in my previous video, but this is the time to see whether it's a comfortable position or not. You find me in a bright color finally. My friend at Sirocco hooked me up with this M4 thermal jersey. They told me, well, Federico, tienes que haber un poquito de color. Some color now and then, it's nice to have when you ride outside on the bike. This base plate is not as standard on Canyon, either on the Ultimate Endurace or the Aerod. This is a special setup that you need to request separately to them. Now, the big question is, of course, is it convenient to go that low? Is it useful to copy the professionals, to slam the stem and potentially face lower back pain or neck pain, as you might read from the usual advice in terms of bike fit? As always, the answer is that it's really relative to your body, your position on the bike and the bike you are riding. There's no an easy answer in this instance. All these aspects needs to be combined all together to see whether this position is efficient for you. First of all, to me, 99.9% of your lower back pain or maybe even neck pain are not related to the front end of the bike, but to the back end of the bike. Saddle high, wrong saddle, these are elements that can cause problems, pain, especially in the lower back. First of all, if you do have a saddle that is too high, you will be in an uncomfortable position to start with. Secondly, if the saddle you have does not allow to tilt and move forward, rotate your pelvis forward, is unbelievably uncomfortable to go low in the front end. I do cycle with a flat back, so when I move forward, I position my body in a way that is not going to be hurt my lower back. I'm not riding with a curved spine, but I'm trying to maintain a flat back when I move forward. It would be extremely uncomfortable. Try to reach a low front end if you can't rotate the pelvis and you need to arch your back to reach the bar. And this is also intrinsically linked to the type of the bike you're riding, because if you ride a endurance bike, so a bike that is naturally set up for you to stay upright, you will be sitting straight like you are sitting on a chair, and if from that position you want to lower your front end, it's going to be a movement that is very, very difficult. However, if you start from a more aggressive position in a way that you can rotate your pelvis, maybe you are sitting slightly forward, the movement to reach a lower bar is a lot more natural and actually can be even more comfortable. Your shoulder can be relaxed and approach the lower bar. And also you need to consider the type of rides you do and the intensity that you would like to ride. If you are in an aggressive position, the lower front end will naturally help a more aggressive style of ride, a faster pace, moving yourself forward, go as they used to say on the rivet. However, if you are riding socially, you don't want to go fast, you just want to run around, then of course the position is not efficient because you will be naturally higher, it would be a much bigger stretch to reach the handlebar. Everything needs to be in harmony with all the other decisions regarding the type of the bike, the type of the ride and the intensity that you would like to apply. I prefer to start the ride fast straight away. I like to push my segments. I still interpret the type of riding not like an endurance sport, but a more punchy collection of hard efforts. And again, this position, slightly forward, slightly lower, to me makes a lot of sense. Of course, you have to check the size of the bike you're riding, because if you are riding a smaller size than you would normally do, you will have a head tube that is slightly shorter. In this case, if you had chosen a smaller bike and compensated with a longer stem, the whole front end will be already lower, so going full slammed might be much lower than would be on a bigger bike. I'm riding a large. I mean, within this situation I could have ridden a medium bike, and maybe on a medium bike I would not have gone that low. You can check the bike dimension and setup on a lot of websites. I use Geometry Geeks, and I find it quite useful, especially if you want to compare different bikes. So the outcome for me on the road is extremely positive. If anything, and this is a bit counterintuitive, I found actually less weight on the hands with a lower position. It was quite surprising, because you would expect when going lower actually more weight on the front end of the bike, but it does seem to me that actually my hand joined the handlebar with a more natural bend of the arm, and it's actually easier for me to ride in that position rather than be with the torso at the same angle and the hands a bit higher, because in that case would actually increase the pressure on the handlebar rather than reducing it. So yes, a little bit lower, strangely enough, is even more comfortable for me. And of course, with all the benefits that a lower position could potentially have: less effort on the legs, better aerodynamic position, and better overall speed. So in conclusion, I tried progressively the new position, the lower position, and I found it really good for my own enjoyment of the bike. I was a bit concerned by the overall advice that is given. It seems that at my age, especially when you reach 50, you can't ride a race bike, you have to ride an endurance bike, you have to raise your front end, and I wasn't really happy with that. So I wanted to try myself if I could still ride this type of position, and I found it useful for my own type of riding. Of course, physical constraint might dictate different setup. If you're enjoying beer too much, maybe by lowering the front end it's going to be not comfortable. Maybe you will be not able to rotate your pelvis forward as you would, and in that situation necessarily a higher front end might help. You don't have to be a contortionist or a yoga teacher to ride the slam stem, as long as you do have free movement from your pelvis moving forward, you don't have a saddle that counteract that movement, and you do adjust the whole position to be consistent with the aggressive stance. I would say the slam stem is a great improvement. If everything clicks in, it's a fantastic move. Let me know in the comments if it worked for you, what's your setup. I would love to hear your experience. As usual, thank you again for watching. I'll see you to the next video. Ciao.